of an analytical and numbers type of person, and I like to stick to the numbers, the patterns, all that kind of stuff that we see in everyday life, and of course, within YouTube and Call of Duty, all that kind of stuff, it comes in handy for predicting different things here and there. And so when we ended up getting an update to Black Ops 3, of course, I kind of had this feeling that it would be new weapons that dropped yesterday, but 2 days ago whenever we got the update for Black Ops 3, because there was a lot of empty space that was unaccounted for. But being that numbers-oriented person, it really came as a surprise to me that we ended up getting DLC weapons just 34 days after that of the previous DLC drop, something that we have never seen it come that close in between time intervals within weapon drops and different camos and DLC and things like that. Lo and behold, we ended up getting DLC, that being the XMC, the Olympia, and the Empire exclusive limited time only camo in supply drops as a part of a little bit of an update to the black market. But that said, with this interval now being the smallest that we've ever seen, it might set up actually a little bit of a pace to see one final DLC weapon drop within Black Ops 3 before the life cycle of this 2-year extended play period ends up finishing up with the launch of World War II. So in this one, I want to discuss a little bit about the possibility, the probability maybe even of this happening, and when we could end up seeing one final DLC weapon drop if it does so happen to be that way. So with that in mind, it's all theory and speculation, just discussion. It's in no way, shape, or form confirmed. It could be totally wrong, it could be totally right. We could end up getting 2 more DLC drops. We don't know, but for the sake of discussion, I want to give you guys my thoughts on what I think is possible with the subject at hand. Starting it off, once again, this was the smallest interval of time between DLC weapon drops that we've had in Black Ops 3 out of the 1.5 years that it's already been live. So 34 days is not a lot of time at all, and for the first time, once again, we've had consecutive months of DLC weapon drops, but that then looks forward as to when we could see this happen once again, because if this were to maybe fall in line with a regular interval in between DLC weapon drops, it might not have been the most advantageous time to drop new weapons if they were trying to put in another DLC weapon drop just to either say milk the cash cow or provide new content for Black Ops 3 players, however you want to end up looking at it. But with that said, that then leaves a decent portion of time and window of opportunity open for Treyarch and Activision to do this again before the launch of World War II. Now here's where we can start try and pinpoint this down, because I mentioned window of opportunity as something that is almost clearly laid out, and honestly, it kind of is. Activision can get rather predictable with their marketing and release schedules, because the very least that they will do in terms of intervals between things will be, for the most part, 2 weeks. So you'll end up, say, theoretically having a DLC release, and then maybe DLC content drop within supply drops in Black Ops 3. That 2 weeks is rather untouched other than that, and maybe save a few playlists and game updates here just to maybe throw a bone to different playlists and things like that. It's primarily 2 weeks in between. So that said, theoretically, if we take this, once again, 34-day interval, and assuming once again we just stick to that smallest interval of Black Ops 3, it'll take us roughly to September 20th, which is right in that time frame of when Infinite Warfare DLC 4 will start to have its marketing either ramped up heavily for the release, or it will have already happened at that point a couple of days before or after. That said, that is the smallest interval and window of time that we'd see waiting between DLC in Black Ops 3. I can't imagine they'd make it, once again, smaller than what we saw with this already being the smallest, especially with the beta and DLC 4 on the horizon. But after DLC 4, which is where we start to get now into moving into the normal intervals of what we've seen recently within Black Ops 3, say maybe 40, 45 days, that is all uncharted territory with absolutely nothing scheduled for Call of Duty in terms of DLC content or anything like that, any reveals, and that could be a prime target for when we see this happening once again. This very late September and all through October is all open water. As far as we know, up in that point, there is absolutely nothing going on, and with 3 active titles this year, it is something that Activision will definitely want to take advantage of that open time to market either something smaller to everybody or give some extra DLC here and there, just so that they can either please the community further and maybe in the case of Black Ops 3 make a few bucks on the side as well. But that said, I guess the only other thing that could come into play here are maybe some seasonal events for Halloween leading up into, once again, a last hurrah of whatever title ends up happening for that before the launch of Call of Duty World War II, or we could maybe not see anything at all. But I think that we'll definitely end up seeing, with this now having DLC drop yesterday, I think this now leads into a perfect time frame of having a standard interval of time elapse before the next and potentially final DLC weapon drop. So I guess kind of clarifying the picture I'm trying to paint is, thus far up until this point, we've had about a standard of, in year 2 of Black Ops 3, of 45 to 55 average, I think, if I remember off the top of my head. I can't seem to find my notes in which I had every single date interval listed out, but about that time, about a 45 to maybe 50 day average for intervals, we ended up having that drop down to 34, which is pretty drastic in the grand scheme of things, but that also sets it up for there to be one final time in which we have another normal interval of say 45 to 50 and 55 days between weapon drops. That would literally drop it right in the middle of the dead period in between and leading up until Call of Duty World War II's launch, and at which point I don't think there will be really much of anything going on outside of marketing and just hammering everything for Call of Duty World War II. So that said, that's what I think could potentially happen. Whether or not it does, I guess that's for time to tell, and something that we won't know of until, again, mid-September, early October, maybe mid-October. I don't know, but keep your eyes open, start saving your keys just in case it does happen. But of course, if it doesn't, you still have those keys that you ended up saving up to maybe get some of the weapons you don't have already. So that said, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. What do you guys think of this? Do you think it makes sense where, because of these intervals, the little curveball here, making it a little bit quicker, we could end up seeing a normal time pass between the next, and maybe that being the last hurrah for Black Ops 3 in terms of DLC? Or do you think it's not gonna happen? Do you think this was the end of Black Ops 3 DLC? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know down there in the comment section down below. It's all just theory, speculation, and a little bit of a discussion that I want to put out there for you guys. So what are your thoughts here on this? Let me know down in the comments. But hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Black Ops 3, both multiplayer and zombies. Call of Duty World War II, we are going to be killing it within the next couple of weeks here with World War II content, the beta. I'm so hyped for it, and hopefully you guys are as well. But stick it right here for the best content that I can possibly be pumping out to you guys. I think you guys will enjoy it. If you guys also are interested in Modern Warfare Remastered and Infinite Warfare, we also get you covered here up on the channel. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected from outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks so much for watching. Modern Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.